Hello, everybody. My name is Coach Steve, the Affordable Life Coach. If you're interested, I've been doing this 13 and a half years. Send me an email, it's in the description. The consultation's free, and the coaching afterwards is ridiculously affordable, and everyone benefits from it, which is a nice thing. Today, we're going to talk about how to not get frustrated with people. It's something that I struggle with and have worked on, and especially in my career, it can be very frustrating when you see clients that you care about, that you want to help, that you want to see evolve, grow, have more joyful, content, fulfilled, well-rounded lives, not follow your advice, not follow what actually would be best for them, not even follow what they say that they want to do. And sometimes they even will get angry with me or upset with me because I'm very honest in my communication with my clients. And I tell them I'm honest with you because most people are not going to be honest with you. And I do it because I care. It's coming from a place of love. And I'd rather stand on that foundation than have safe, easy, comfortable sessions or safe, easy, comfortable communication in my life in general. That's flat, boring, and it's not going to be edifying. It's not going to be beneficial to the listener. It's going to be stagnant. It's going to be superficial, shallow, and boring, but safe, comfortable, easy to digest. And that's what we want, is we want safe, easy, comfortable information and conversations that is not going to rock our world, not going to challenge our belief systems, not going to upset us, make us uncomfortable. And I deal with this on a regular basis. And so I feel like I have some experience on how to deal with it, and one, not how to take it, not how to not take it personally, and not to be so reactive. When people push back, when people are just completely stubborn, when people are most often just completely propagandized or indoctrinated by the media, by social media, by whatever influencers they like to watch, or political commentators that they like to watch, or even worse yet, it's the subtle indoctrination and conformity of just the culture and the implied expectations that are put upon us from a very young age and that we are expected to adopt or follow. And it's sad because people will value that over and sell themselves out. We always talk about artists or musicians or authors that sell out, but we don't focus on how we sell out and how we water down who we are and what we feel and what we want to say for breadcrumbs of approval, and not having people be upset with us, and not being judged or criticized or ostracized or getting pushback. And I get it. Sometimes it's just so exhausting dealing with people that are not well informed on the particular subject matter that they're talking about, or they don't have the experience, or they're just repeating talking points, or they're brainwashed and they don't even realize it, or they're doing it because that's what's been modeled to them from a very young age. They don't know any different. And coming up against people's defenses is really, really tiring. And I was watching a YouTuber, he's a political commentator, a really intelligent guy, and with some in depth commentary, and criticizes both sides and very effectively, on the left and on the right, and calls out hypocrisy and calls out the lies, and is just a breath of fresh air. His name is An0maly, if anyone's interested in checking out his YouTube channel. And he's very well read, well researched. And I haven't watched a ton of videos on his, but just the few videos I have watched, I was very impressed with his content. And the most recent one was a rant about how upset and frustrated he is of the pushback he gets by being truthful and honest and not catering to people that are on the right or people that are on the left, and focusing more on what's true, what's real, and backing it up with some good evidence from what I've seen. And he was really frustrated. He says, "I'm tired going on Twitter or X now, and reading all these comments and all the backlash I get, and people saying I'm a traitor to the right or I'm a traitor to the left, and people not wanting to be real and be truthful and be honest. And I'm done with this. I don't need this. I could go and be a river guide somewhere, and I'll be happy." And he was just going off about how frustrating it is being a person with the goal of living your life with integrity, speaking with integrity, and not catering to your audience. Because what I get a sense he's doing, he's not catering to either of the audiences, which alienates. It pisses off the left because there are things that they don't want to hear, and it pisses off the right. And he's not a go along to get along. He's more focused on, this is how I feel and this is what the data says. And when you live a life like that, and if he ever watches this video, my recommendation, and I think he's a Christian or believes in God, and it's not to seek the approval of man or woman, not to expect it. You got to go in expecting that people are going to throw darts and arrows your way when you are saying things that they don't want to hear, that doesn't reinforce their confirmation bias, or doesn't reinforce the narrative, or pokes holes in the people and heroes that they idolize. You are going to get pushback and people are going to be upset. And he was disheartened, frustrated, and dejected by it. And my thoughts were, you should be excited about it because you're doing good work. When you do good work and when you stay on that very narrow path of speaking truthfully, honestly, and not people pleasing or catering to what your audience wants to hear, and you get pushback, it's a sign that what you're doing holds merit. Not all the time. I mean, there's oftentimes cases where people are not basing what they're saying in facts and data and well researched. But he should be celebrating. And we're never satisfied. We're always looking at, he was looking at all the haters or the people that were giving him grief or people that were criticizing him or pushing back. And I was reading some of his YouTube comments, and I saw a lot of support and a lot of people who agreed, and a lot of said, we need your voice. And human beings were never satisfied. Like focus on that. All the people that you've helped to wake up, all the people that connect with your message, and not all the people that criticize you or push back on you at you. And that's a sign that you are onto something, and that you can look in the mirror and be proud of living a life of integrity and not needing or seeking the approval of people. We are to seek the approval of God. We are to fear God, not man, not woman. And that's what I think was really frustrating him. And I'm sharing this story about the video I watched, but this comes up all the time in our lives, in my life. It's just like, oh my gosh, like people just don't get it. I want to help them. And this is not everybody. I have many clients that do get, excuse me, that do get it and do apply the things that we discuss in sessions. And I get some really nice comments and feedback on my videos or emails, how the videos have been transformational. And it's all what you focus on. I could focus on the negative, which is easy to do. That's our default. Like he was doing. He was focusing on the negative. And it takes mental effort and approaching life with a positivity bias. And that's hard to do. You know, where most of us, it's so easy. Being critical, focusing on the negative comes automatically. To focus on the positive and the good takes effort. It takes a commitment that I'm going to see the good in people, even the ones that really are challenging, and I'm going to work with what they give me. And I have some clients that are extremely challenging. Not a lot. They're very much in the minority, and sometimes I'll just leave the session completely drained and exhausted. And I always look at it. It's not them, it's me. I'm the problem. I'm the solution. Why did I allow this client to exhaust me? Or even just people in my life. Why did I allow that? What is my takeaway? How can I grow from that? And one thing I've heard which really resonated with me is you never want to work harder than your client on their growth, on their transformation, on their goals, their successes. And sometimes I catch myself. I am more of an advocate for them than they are for themselves. And I'm not doing myself a service, and I'm not doing them a service. And so I learn from that, and then I dial back. I know some clients, and again, when I say clients, this is also people in general, so you can apply it to your particular situation. I'm just saying I have on a daily basis, I have a lot of human interaction where the conversations are a lot more raw and more authentic, and not, the superficial chit chat that most of us go through in a normal day. And so it's like I get a deep education on how to work with people and how to grow from the experience and how to take responsibility for my engagements, how to speak radically honest with people, and how to come from a place of love and caring and wanting them to heal, to grow, to evolve. Even though it's difficult, it's much easier to be passive and like, yes, okay, oh, that must be tough on you. Oh, I'm sorry you had to go through that. instead of calling people out on their own BS and their own lies that they tell themselves. It's really it can be really, really challenging. And but I can't live with myself if I don't honor my values, as the previous video that I made. I have to stay true to my values. And I think that's what causes a lot of people frustration in dealing with other people is, one, they want to impose their values on the person. And if they're not open, sometimes it's just good to have I'll talk to clients about alternative ways of looking at life or spiritual practices or beliefs. And if they're open, that's great. But if they're not open, a way to conserve your energy and not get frustrated is stop knocking on the door. It's amazing, and especially when I started coaching early on, I would keep on knocking on the door that the client didn't want to open or that the person didn't want to open. And I would get engaged in these conversations when someone is just completely, their mind's made up. They don't want to change their viewpoint. They don't want to listen to alternative perspectives. And I'm sure I'm guilty of that at times as well, but I try to really consciously be open to alternative perspectives, because that's the only way you grow. That's the only way you challenge yourself. And that's the only way you can deepen your convictions. If you're not challenged and you only take in information that confirms what you already believe, how strong are those convictions, or more so, how weak are they that they can't be challenged? And that's what's happening in today's culture and society and politics and even religion, is people are just don't want to hear anything that is going to make them uncomfortable, or don't want to hear anything that doesn't confirm what they already believe. And I have a limited amount of energy and time and resources in a day, and so do you. Choose wisely on what you spend and who you spend that energy on. When I was doing motivational, when I was a teenager, I was doing like motivational sales on like seminars and things like that, and I always remember what he was like my mentor. What he said to me, he said, there's A, B, and C clients or customers, potential customers. The A's have heard your product, they're open to your product, they want to learn more about your product, and they have a need for your product. The B's, they've heard of it, they not really too familiar with it, they're not sure if they have a need, but they'll listen to your pitch. The C's, they're never heard of your product, they don't think they need it, they don't want it, they're not interested in it, and they'll even push back and have a lot of objections and waste your time, basically. Focus on the A's and maybe the occasional B's. And that's really the secret, is like with the An0maly's YouTube channel and the video he made. Dude, you got a lot of A's. You got a lot of people who love your message. He has, I think, like 278,000 subscribers. And stop focusing on the C's and B's, especially the C's, the haters, the ones that give you grief. Because when you get grief and you get pushback and you get criticized, it shows what's truly within you. That's what comes out. And that's why having such a strong spiritual core is so important, because you're not going to be swayed, deflated, angry, frustrated, upset. You're going to be at peace because you stuck to your values and you spoke truth. What the universe does with that is up to them. It's not your responsibility. And if you're reacting to the negative reaction that you're getting, it reveals infinitely more about you than them. And it's accepting that historically, people that were revolutionaries at the time, or free thinkers, or who question authority, or look at what they did to Jesus, right? I mean, he's talking about salvation. I'm offering you eternal salvation, and look what they did to him. And he did it anyways. And these great people of the past that we are reaping the benefits of were considered heretics, or were considered rebels, or were considered, unloyal. They were ostracized, killed. They were canceled. And if we live in a climate of fear, and we live in a climate of, I need to be accepted, I need your approval, then we're always going to suffer, because we are going to be the prisoner of other people's opinions and their approval. And if you know what you're doing in your heart is right, and you're sticking to the truth and your truth, and you're speaking it from a place of authenticity, love, and wanting to help people, that's enough. That should be enough. And if it's not enough, then you got to ask yourself why, and do some soul searching. And so I learned, one, with clients that don't want to go to a certain area, even though it would be helpful. Like, that's why they have historically bad relationships, or why they have underlying unresolved anger issues, or they have addictions that they just can't wean themselves off of. If they don't want to go to the source, and that's what I try to do, because we spend our focus in just human beings, they focus on the superficial, on the symptoms, and not the source. What's causing the addiction? And when you focus on the cause, you can start healing, you can treat it, you can address it. But when you get the wall that comes up, that I occasionally, or maybe even more so than I'd like, but it's just part of my job, and even in my personal life, it's like, I'm going to stop knocking on that door. I'll plant a seed, and I'll say, hey, you know what? Here's something to think about. Here's something that you might find beneficial. Here's something that might heal you and transform your life and create joy and peace, and eliminate the suffering and the pain that you're going through. But if they're not willing and they're not open, don't bother. Stop knocking. Stop pressuring them. Stop pushing them. And stop personalizing it. It's just the way human beings are. And the majority, most people have like a sheep mindset. And they just want to fit in and belong and not rock the boat. And we've seen that, over the past 3 years, especially. It's people want to be accepted at the expense of being authentic, of being bold, of being brave, of being courageous, of speaking from their heart, of saying things that are unpopular. And if you can look at yourself in the mirror and feel good about yourself, then it's the safer, short-term, especially easier path. But if you're not that type of person, or you want to be that type of person that is just real in all sense, not trying to impress people, not trying to control people, not being overly defensive to try to manage people's image of you. not wearing a mask and portraying something that's false so that people like you. It's so exhausting. And it's so exhausting trying to change someone's opinion that is just not open and receptive. And when you go in with the expectation, hey, I might be able to reach 5% of the people, maybe 10% of the people, whatever it is, like if you're whatever you're talking about, if you have some clarity or some insight and you want to spread the message, and your message is rooted in something substantial, not just like, oh, I have this thought that the world is flat, or something like that. If it's grounded in something substantial, you're not going to reach most people. Most people don't want to change. They don't want to change their values. They don't want to change their routines. They don't want to change their safe, easy, and comfortable lifestyle. Not everybody. How many people watch my videos? Like, this has happened quite a lot, where people have been watching my videos for years and then will finally reach out and schedule a session or a consultation, and they go, I've been wanting to do this for years. And it's just, there's something that blocks us with uncertainty. There's something that blocks us with thinking about having to make a change and the challenges that come with that. And even if we're unhappy and miserable, it's known, it's familiar. We know what to expect. And that's sadly what a lot of people crave and seek out over uncertainty, new ideas, new belief system, a different way of looking at their lives or the world or their spirituality. And it's a beautiful thing that we should celebrate and rejoice if we do reach 1 out of 10, 1 out of 50, even 1 out of 100. My YouTube channel is super small. And I could dwell on that. Like, some people have commented, I can't believe your channel doesn't have more subscribers, more views. And I just focus on, I'm so thankful for the viewers I have. And I'm so thankful for the small engagements. Some of my videos only get like 2 or 3 comments. And I'm so appreciative of those comments. And it helps me to know that in a very minuscule way, I'm helping people, and I'm doing it in a way where I'm remaining true to my convictions. And so as we go through life, and again, I'm still working on this in myself. I think I've made progress, but I have a long way to go. It's just to flow with life and flow with people, and don't get sucked into the drama. Don't get sucked into the negativity. Don't get sucked into the people that want to get a rise out of you, want to criticize you, want to troll you, want to disagree with you. They feed on your reaction. And that's one of the things when I was describing that An0maly's channel, is you're rewarding the very behavior that you don't want to see, because they thrive on reaction. And so many people, especially on the internet, that's where they get their, oh, he reacted. Oh, he's upset. Oh, he's defensive. Oh, might quit his YouTube channel. Oh, he's discouraged. He's deflated. He's frustrated. Why give them that ammunition? And why give anybody that ammunition? When we are being reactive, someone criticizes you, someone judges you, someone says something that is painful or hurtful, If it's somebody, and I'm not talking about somebody that is like we have a real deep, meaningful relationship, but even those people, it's like, be like water, like Bruce Lee says. You just flow with it. I know it's easier practice than done, and that's where prayer comes in. That's where Bible reading comes in. That's where your spiritual practice comes in, is you're grounded in something much bigger and higher than yourself, and you're not relying on your own resources. You're relying on a higher power to give you the ability to go through life from a place of love. As they were crucifying Jesus on the cross, he says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they are doing." What an example. And we're not experiencing that. I mean, most people are not experiencing that type of persecution. Thankfully, that intense hatred where they want to kill you and crucify you, and if you see it, like, have some empathy and know that these people are lost, or they don't want the truth, or that they want to live in their own little, his video, he calls it they want to put on the Barbie clothes or play dress up. They want to play the role, whether they're a Trump supporter or whether they're a Biden supporter or whether they're a left or on the right. They want to play the role, and people look to politics, people look to social justice and changes as a form of religion or as a form of their spiritual practice. And when you criticize that, you're criticizing a deep part of who they are, and it's also part of the group. They want to be accepted and embraced by the group. And we know, whether you're on the left or you're on the right, there's a whole list of rules and belief systems and dogmas and doctrines that you have to adopt and believe in. Otherwise, you're going to be persecuted, judged, or ostracized. And so people don't want to let go of that because it's so much more to them than about facts and truth. Great book on this topic is The Elephant in the Brain. And how the more dogma and rules and restrictions and beliefs you have, the tighter the group, and the more connected, and the more you can filter out people from the group that are not part of your tribe. Because there's people on the left and people on the right, and I think that's what An0maly is struggling with. He's not giving them the doctrine of the tribe, of the group, of the religion, of supporting Trump no matter what, or supporting Biden or Democrats no matter what. And you see, if you disagree with something in their religious statement, on the left or right, you will get ostracized. You will get judged. You will get kicked out of the club. But so what? That should be a badge of honor, not something to get upset and frustrated and defeated and like, I want to quit. It should infuse you with inspiration and courage and boldness, and that you're standing on your truth. And that's fulfilling. How can we feel good about ourselves when we live the most of our lives in a lie or in denial, lying to ourselves? Another great book, The Truth About Dishonesty, How We Lie to Others, but especially ourselves. I think that's something along the title. And you can't feel good about yourself. I'm gonna conform. He was talking about all the masks and stuff like that, and how he wasn't going to wear them, and people were yelling at him at the grocery store and stuff like that. And he says he just couldn't take it, like he felt like a prisoner during that time. And we can relate. A lot of people can relate. But if you are a trailblazer, if you are sticking to your morals and principles and not just conforming so you don't get pushback, then you're a coward. And how free are you? You're a prisoner to the acceptance and approval of other people. Is that how we want to live our lives? And then we can't understand why we have social anxiety. We have social anxiety because we're not who we truly want to be. And you can't play a role and feel confident about it or feel good about yourself. If you're not getting pushback in life, it's kind of like when I was learning how to ski. If the instructor said this to me, like, if you're not falling down, you're not trying. If you're not getting pushback in your life and you're a people pleaser and everyone's happy with you, you're being a fraud, you're being phony, and that's not a success. And I think we look at that as a success. Oh, I get along with everybody. People are rarely, if ever, upset with me. Even people pleasers, I have clients that are people pleasers, and that's something we're working on in social stretching. People still get upset with them. Why did this become such a goal? I know it's part of our tribal instinct to want to be part of the group so we don't get kicked out of the group and feel that sense of threat being on our own. But there are other people who think like you, who believe like you, that never know you exist because of you don't advertise yourself. And then you want to complain, oh, okay, I'm going to start being myself, and then get pushback, and then you go back into the turtle shell where it's safe and comfortable and easy, and go, see, it doesn't work being myself. People were, upset with me. And again, we're not talking about being rude, being hateful, being mean, spirited. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about being truthful. Stop censoring yourself. And that's liberating. And the An0maly's channel, like, that's a sense, and just from the few videos I've watched from him, he is authentic. He is being real. And that's the victory. That's the metric in which we measure success. Not haters, not people that push back. That is not the goal. Because if that's the goal, you are going to get discouraged like he is. You are going to want to quit. And each day when I'm working with clients, especially ones that want to work on this type of lifestyle and communication, each day we want to wake up and go, how can I socially stretch myself? How can I be more honest in my communication? How can I say things that make me uncomfortable? And expect pushback. Also expect people will appreciate it. And they're going to be in the minority, but people will appreciate and respect your honesty and integrity in your communication. And then you have somebody to talk to, somebody to go deeper with, have a more real, authentic, meaningful relationship with. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to live. And I made a video years and years ago, wean yourself off the teat of approval. That's what we were all sucking off the teat of approval. We want approval. And that's how we were conditioned. Stop it. Approval is a bad habit. It's an addiction that you'll never get fulfilled from. You'll always need more and more and more approval. It makes you weak. It makes you needy. It makes you desperate. It makes you helpless. You're dependent on other people. How can that feel good? Well, Steve, it feels much better than feeling uncomfortable when people judge me because I'm expressing an unpopular opinion or belief or something that goes against the cultural brainwashing or what the political leaders are saying. Okay, ships are safe in harbor, but that's not what ships were made for. Go sail, go out in the open sea. How sad is it to look back at your life and go, okay, my life was safe, easy, and comfortable. I didn't take any major risks. I didn't have any major failures. I didn't have any catastrophes. How much regret are you going to have? Like, I've had plenty of failures. I've taken many risks and things haven't worked out. And that's been fuel for my growth, fuel for my videos, fuel for my coaching. That is what we should want and seek, not staring at our phones all day or staring at a screen. It's going out and engaging with people, having face-to-face, having real conversations, uncomfortable conversations, speaking our truth, and having adventures. You don't need to travel the world to have an adventure. You can have adventures every day just by stretching yourself and not living life passively and meekly. It just sucks the spiritual juice, joy, meaning, feelings. It just sucks you dry. And then what do? We feel deflated, we feel discouraged, we feel a sense of shame or guilt because we're not being our true selves. And then we just numb out by staring at a screen or turning to food. That's not a real life. If you would like help on this journey and this resonates with you, send me an email. It's in the description. Consultation, absolutely free. Coaching sessions after that, ridiculously affordable. And it might be one of the most impactful decisions you ever make in your life. Give it a try. You don't really have anything to lose. Would appreciate any comments that you want to make on this video. Tell me where you agree, where you disagree, and how you apply these principles in your life or don't apply them and what the results are. Because the most important thing is, what is the long-term results of my values, of my behavior, of my way of approaching other people and approaching life? Is it producing the results you want? I mean, most people are dissatisfied with their lives. So focus on the positive, focus on the victories, focus on the people that you are able to connect with, reach. Don't waste your time on people that are not open-minded, are completely brainwashed. You know, I've told people, like, I don't want to discuss politics with you, and I'm competing against thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of mainstream corporate brainwashing. It's hard to compete against that, and that's what we have to be aware of within ourselves. How much indoctrination, how many thousands of hours or years or even decades of programming do we have within ourselves that we're not even aware of? Have an open heart, have an open mind, and what I tell people is be curious. If someone disagrees with you, be curious. Ask questions instead of criticizing them or criticizing their beliefs. And in asking questions, you can reveal to them how shallow their beliefs are or how ineffectual it is. And it's just a different approach to life that makes it more engaging. You conserve a very valuable resource, your life energy. And most importantly, you're not getting frustrated and aggravated in dealing with people. So, if you'd like to support the channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. It is greatly appreciated, and please share this video. And if you want to see more videos like this, like and subscribe. And I thank all of my few hundred viewers. Thank you for watching. And thank you for your participation in the channel. I really appreciate it. And it means a lot to me. And I look forward to more videos where they're like this. They're just against the mainstream. And that's who my channel would appeal to. I'm sure I would have a lot more viewers if I adopted more of a mainstream approach, um, like An0maly criticizes other political commentators. They have a lot more subscribers, or they're a lot more positive feedback because they just go along with what their group believes. But it's not me, and it's not a fulfilling way to live, and it's not the message of this channel, what I'm trying to impart on people I coach or people that watch these videos. Until next time, thanks. Bye-bye.